we now have Nick von Marken with not back to normal. All right, back to normal, which is the session that was originally planned for now, after David, which is David Sjolander, and I hope I pronounced the name right, and Ted Horner, that are going to give us how to be at the leading edge of technology and how that leading edge can help us to differentiate in hospitality. Please welcome David and Ted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Mostly I'm up here to introduce our next speaker, but I just want to take a moment to tell you about my company. I'm with HTNG, which also stands for Hospitality Technology Next Generation. It doesn't sound like it, but we're a trade association. We're based in Chicago, and our mission is to really advance technology in the hotel industry. That's all we do. Even though we're based in Chicago, we're very global. We've had a conference here in Dubai for the last 8 years, and we're very active in this region. But we're sort of a neutral gathering place for hotel companies and technology providers to solve problems and move the industry forward. We have 24 board members from the companies on the screen. We also are represented by 100 hotel companies in our membership. Our board represents over 3 million hotel rooms. Our membership represents over 5 million hotel rooms. We have about 260 vendors and about 4,500 active members. About 68 consultants, one of which you will meet in a moment. We work on things like some of the things listed here and some of the things you've heard about, talked about today, blockchain, for example. A whole host of topics. We have usually about 12 to 15 work groups active at any one time. Again, solving problems, moving things forward. We're going to dig into a few of these now with really one of the best and most well-known consultants in our industry, based out of Australia, an old friend of mine and a real expert, Ted Horner.
Thanks very much. I'm going to show a couple of videos, so hopefully I can keep your attention, for I know it's late in the afternoon. So, technology trends that are going to shape the hospitality industry in 2019. So, recent surveys would show, and I think some of the earlier speakers, particularly Shinmei from PwC had mentioned this, but these are some of the areas that people are going to now start investing in. The surveys done by a magazine in the United States earlier this year would indicate that artificial intelligence is leading the way, RFID, etc., etc. Now, I'm a big traveller. I would probably spend about 40% of my entire life, and when you live in Sydney, it's a long way from anywhere, so including 14 hours yesterday to get to this wonderful country. So, I'm going to talk about a particular hotel chain, and this particular hotel chain spent a great deal of money pitching themselves to Apple. Hands up in the room who've heard of a hotel chain called Citizen M. Well, I've been with those guys from the get-go. In fact, one of the founders spoke at a conference in 2003 in Amsterdam, and he had one star is born, which is more. So I believe they're one of the best users of technology. So have a quick look at this video, and I think that you'll see what I'm talking about.
Today, I've partnered up with Siri
Hello, creators.
to share a vision of the future. A future where Citizen M's unique understanding of the modern-day traveller is paired with Apple's exceptional products, and together we completely revolutionize the hospitality sector. One thing we learned early on is that our customers love to use your products, and we've been optimizing our guest-friendly tech ever since. Every single one of our 2,800 hotel rooms worldwide, from Type A to New York City, are centered around user-friendly technology to enhance the guest experience. With 40 hotels globally by 2020, 15 of which will be in North America, we're already creating a global footprint in some of the most Apple-friendly locations. Our unique check-in kiosks have already eliminated queues and the need for a reception desk altogether. The entire process takes less than 60 seconds. Some guests even use our check-in app, but imagine if they could use their Apple Watch instead. At our standard 95% occupancy rate, we'll have 3.5 million people staying with us annually by 2020. And while in North America, 63% of 18 to 49-year-olds have an Apple device, within the borders of our hotels, that number jumps to well over 70%. So what better place for Siri to really stretch her wings than right here? Our ambassadors all have iPads. Each one is equipped with a special app which allows them to manage all the features of a guest's room, should a problem ever arise. As well as all the features you'd expect, our key cards can also be used as a payment device within the hotel. And eventually, when they can also use their Apple Watch as a key, it will mean Apple users will never lose their room keys again. Within each room, we focused only on the practical luxuries. For example, each room has an iPad, giving the guests control over everything from the temperature to mood lighting. And once they connect to the Apple TV through AirPlay, they can even order food and have it delivered right to their room door. All this whilst enjoying their favorite music.
Hey Siri, play my favorite song.
Playing 24K Magic now.
And once HomePod is launched, the party never has to stop. Our hotels are filled with carefully selected pieces of local art. Now take a second to imagine what it would be like if we integrated Siri into this part of the experience.
Hey Siri, can you tell me something about this painting?
It was created by Julian Opie in 2001 and is a depiction of English rose, Kate Moss.
Well, who says you need to leave the hotel to feel cultured? Even our in-house Canteen M, which is open 24/7, is equipped with Apple Pay.
I've also heard the food is rather delicious.
When you walk around our comfortable, beautifully designed living rooms, built for work, play, and everything in between, all of our hotels have free, high-speed Wi-Fi. Guests can either chill with a coffee or jump on an iMac at the iMac station. But if there's really still work to be done, they can use one of our Society M rooms, all of which are currently equipped with AirPlay. We already have curated, easy-to-use guidebooks in our hotels, but an Apple-style upgrade would allow Siri to take over the role, with bespoke tours for each guest based on their actual interests. We're always looking for new and exciting ways to augment the future, because whilst we've never had human concierges at our hotels before, we wouldn't be opposed to a digital one.
Hey Siri, are there any raw, vegan, Asian restaurants near me?
Here are a few I love, and I think you'll love too.
And this seamless integration of technology won't merely stop with the iPad. Whilst we currently provide our guests with a catalogue of free movies along with AirPlay in each room, once we collaborate, we'll be able to equip each room with an Apple TV. So guests will not only be able to connect to their own Netflix accounts, but all their personal apps.
Hey Sarah, do you want to pick up where you left off on Planet of the Apps?
By showcasing the entire Apple ecosystem in one neat package, we'll rival the familiarity and ease of our guests' homes.
Allowing them to do anything. Look up local events, get directions to their nearest station, pause movies, check flights and traffic, listen to their music, keep up with the...
Siri, turn off the lights and switch to Do Not Disturb.
And so much more. We exist on the frontier of what's possible for the guest experience. And with your revolutionary tech helping us achieve new heights, we'll be setting a new standard for the industry as a whole. So, Apple, can Citizen M be your best friend?
You've been my best friend since day one.
Citizen M paid a lot of money for that video, and already it's actually enlivened and emboldened Apple, and watch this space as Citizen M rolls out more technology hand in hand with Apple. As we heard earlier, the Internet of Things and big data is coming into our rooms. But what does it really mean? Now, more and more now, we talked about hyper-personalisation, understanding our guests and preparing a curated experience for them. And if you then delight a guest or exceed their expectations, then hopefully they'll tell their friends on TripAdvisor or any other social media sites that they had a great experience at your hotel. Guest management systems, they can even now anticipate your guest requirements and look into previous activity and then basically create that experience for you. And to show that point, I have another video that was put together by a major vendor in the US, which I'm sure you'll recognise in a minute. So there's an example of some of the technology in beacons and IoTs that is now being rolled out. And actually, next month I'm going to a hotel in Croatia called Madrija Park, which actually has this technology, so I can personally experience it myself. The other thing is now, is that you've heard it previously, mobile entry, keyless entry is really taking off. However, I think it's a marketing thing, and at the moment the adoption rate is still low. But certain chains like Hilton are really committed and are really actively, aggressively in marketing this as a technology differentiator. Because that's what we're now in. Most of the big hotel chains now are going down the technology path and trying to use a piece of technology to differentiate themselves from the competition. As we said, we're seeing a continuous focus to mobile. Now, obviously, robots. Now, robots are an interesting subject because my clients say they're going to depersonalise the experience. But I'd like to think that this hotel in Japan that's had these robots, I couldn't think of anything worse personally myself, and then just in the last month they've just announced that half of these robots that are at the reception desk have been replaced. Maybe ultimately the Japanese, who love robots, even themselves got tired of being presented at a front desk. But where are you going to see, simple guest delivery? There's quite a number of hotels, right? But the question we have to ask ourselves in this environment is there a real ROI for these robots in this example? So let me take you to another one. There is now a robotic vacuum cleaner which is being rolled out in 3 hotels in America as we speak. And one of the things they're doing the problem in America is there's a labour shortage. And also, vacuuming rooms is dull, dangerous and dirty. So what better application is the first iteration of robots in hotels is vacuum cleaners, automatic robotic vacuum cleaners that can clean common spaces, corridors, convention space, etc. And there is a strong ROI, and watch this space. You're going to see more of these robotic devices appearing in hotels as we move along. Now, voice recognition. I've just written an article in a magazine in the United States. I think this is the next big thing, and I actually stayed at a hotel called the Motif Hotel in Seattle in January to write an article and to interview the management about how wonderful the technology is. And as a result of it, right, as we can see, WhatsApp everyone uses, but when a company as large as Amazon decides to get into the marketplace and promote its Amazon Alexa as a hospitality device, certainly a lot of people are taking notice. So let me show you my last video, which I think emboldens and gives you some idea of, and this particular product is actually being trialled on 2 Marriott sites in America as we speak, but there are many other hotels that have already rolled out some form of voice, either with Amazon or Google. So have a quick look at this video.
You work hard to delight your guests and improve your staff's productivity. We can make it easier. Introducing Alexa for Hospitality.
Alexa, turn on the lights.
Okay.
Alexa, play my Focus playlist. Alexa, order me an AHIC tuna salad.
Okay. Would you like to add a glass of red wine?
Yes, sounds perfect. Alexa, wake me up at 6:15 a.m.
Okay. Alarm set for 6:15 a.m.
Alexa, turn off the lights. Alexa, clean my room.
I've notified housekeeping. Enjoy your day.
Alexa, call home.
Calling home.
Hi, Mom. Did you have a good meeting?
Hi, sweetie. Yes, it went great.
Are you going to celebrate?
Oh, absolutely. I can't wait to see you guys tonight.
Bye, Mom.
All of this is made possible with Alexa for Hospitality. You now have immediate access to guest engagement and feedback, helping you adapt your hotel experience to meet your guests' needs. Alexa for Hospitality also makes it easy to deploy and manage hundreds of Echo devices.
Alexa, help me check out.
Okay.
Delivering a great guest experience is simple with Alexa for Hospitality. Just ask.
So Interesting thing is what are we trying to do with this technology? Although I want to pick up one particular point. After staying at this hotel in Seattle and had this system, an Amazon Alexa, had been in every room since August last year, they were getting a 30% take-up rate. So what were the things that people were using this voice device for? One was the Emerald City, as it's called. Lots of inquiries about how to get to certain tourist attractions. I was having dinner with a colleague. I asked Alexa how far it was to walk from my hotel to the restaurant. Alexa, I'd like 2 extra towels to be brought to my room. And they were then integrated to a service request system. Then there's also Google's entry into the marketplace, and they've just introduced Generation 2 of voice translation with translation of 70 different languages. The Dream Hotel Group in Small Boutique Group in New York City has just rolled out the first iteration of Google Assist. So think about for a minute, it is predicted in the next few years that there will be 300 million Chinese traveling around the world. Wouldn't it be fantastic if your hotel had an Amazon or a Google or a Siri device in the room where any Chinese person could talk in Mandarin, and at the other end, person who's picking up the request that have it translated into English or various other languages. I can foresee the day that voice will become a major next generation technology platform in hotels. So at the end of the day, as I wrap up, what are we really trying to do with this technology? To provide the right data to the right employer or customer at the right location at the right time, and to provide the best customer experience. It's interesting to note, out of curiosity, hands up those in the room who've got a voice device, an Amazon Echo or Alexa or a Google or a Siri. Many people? Oh, a few. Well, it's interesting to note that in America right now, there are over 100 million devices in households in America. And if we understand our industry, where consumer technology is being taken up, wouldn't it be fantastic if you arrived at a hotel and you'd had that experience? And what the management of the Motive Hotel told me when I interviewed them earlier this year was people were delighted and took to it, to use an Australian expression, a duck to water, when they saw an Amazon device they'd already worked. And interesting, when voice first came out a couple of years ago by Steve Wynn at his casino in Vegas, there were 2 issues: speech recognition and privacy. Now the technology in terms of speech recognition is far better. When I first went to a hotel a couple of years ago and saw a hotel that had this technology, it couldn't even understand my broad Australian accent. But the other thing as well now is the privacy issue has been lessened now, because when you do communicate and converse with this device, when you check out, all conversation information is deleted on checkout. So I think to some extent the previous issues with this voice, which were early iterations, are now being addressed, and I foresee this technology really taking off in hotels in the next few years. Now, how quickly it comes to this part of the world as opposed to the United States or Australia, or even for that matter in Southeast Asia, is a moot point, but I have no doubt that companies as big as Amazon and Google have a vested interest in this technology. And I finish with this: the world of consumer technology and changing, and I say we, the hospitality industry, need to be a part of it. So on that note, and I've finished 6 seconds on time, thank you very much.
Great stuff, thank you.